Happy all-time high. Get it. Wag me. Wag me. All right. So as long as you weren't short, you're doing pretty good right now, honestly. Um, I have tiny swing on. I added a little bit on this dip. Plus I have some FTT going, a little bit of ETH, and then I just opened scalp long on Bybit and a scalp long on FTX. So yeah, I just posted on posted. Let me on Twitter. Let me see. Go refresh. Yeah, the ETH and FTT ones, those are all like sort of more of swing positions. None of them are huge, by the way. I'm still not trading. I'm trying to keep it all reasonable. I don't want to. I know FTT FTT exploded. I'm glad I had anything on. Yeah. So, anyways, see what's up. So I basically I took this guy, something like that. But the truth is, I didn't go full size. So this I probably would keep adding, to be honest, down towards a retest of. So this is the all-time highs from before. Yeah. Right. So this line here is the all-time highs from the first time we got up here. So I got in on here. I would keep adding personally. I didn't go. I'm only like a third size. Hey Max, I'm glad to hear it. Yeah, it's Teal Street's obviously it's a work in progress. So it'll keep getting better, more stable. We're gonna open up we're gonna basically let everyone into the beta hopefully next week. But right now, yeah, if you want in before, then just DM Lat in Discord. So we're not hiring anybody right now. Um, but if you really think you're a great fit, then reach out. Why is my stop loss here? Well, why is my stop loss? So it's a little arbitrary. The truth is not really much you could do. You're kind of just guessing. Um, what I will say is that if we retrace below the 50% line of this impulse candle and below the original all-time high test, at that point I would rather just get out. Maybe. So the first thing is my stop losses for me are typically 66.8. No, just don't short. I mean, I don't see why you want to short. There's no reason to short. No, there's no good short right now. There's nothing to short. Seriously. This is not investment advice, but there's no reason to short. None whatsoever. Yeah. Short BTC. Yeah, except for you can't short the short tokens. Exactly. Short USD. Here. Let me see. Can I long USD? How can I do this? No, I can't. Anyways. Yeah, just invert your chart and short USD. Okay. USD BTC, is that a thing? No. I think I can do I do. No, I can't. Okay. Um where can we short? All right, so yeah, so basically my this stop losses for me are typically just like something to they're usually there just to protect myself in case the market moves. But does Bifinex have something? I mean, it's just inverse chart. Like, okay, there you go. Very helpful. There. Short this. All right. So I took this trade. Stop loss, something like that. Just like that. There you go. That's my short. Is it good to long now or wait? I already jumped into a long, but I left myself some room to add if we take one more. I would add on one more leg down. Um, if we don't bounce off sort of somewhere in here, uh, then I'll probably get out. My emergency stop loss is sort of way down here. Actually, let me move it. Oh, right, I'm just gonna do that. That's like the emergency. Okay, that's like worst case. I'm like passed out. Okay, everything else is up to my discretion. If we get down to here, then I want out. The rest of this is up to my discretion. Okay, that's how I trade on the 1 minute. Did we? Well, I wasn't even awake for the breakout. Anyways, that's my plan. If we get another leg down towards like 66, even into the like high 65s, I'll keep adding. Think that, and then hopefully end up with an average entry closer to around here, something like that. Maybe 66, and then targeting. I mean, honestly, 68, 69 seems like a pretty reasonable target. Is Luna taking off? Yeah, I know you can invert it. I know. Yes, I was just joking by not doing that. Anyways, okay. 68, 69. I think that's a great place to target any longs, long any dip. Um, you're not likely to get deep dips. If you're trying to catch a deep dip, you're probably not going to get filled. If your goal is to get filled, you're going to have to take shallow dips and just be okay with that. There's nothing else you can do. There's not going to be any opportunities for deep dips. So that's just the nature of bullish markets. But the other side of that is that the market's really bullish. So you know, don't lose sight of that. Um, there's no reason for it to take a deep dip right now. So that's basically it. UIDX, what's it doing? I've never touched it, to be honest. Yeah, I mean it looks good. Part of this though is the market, the whole market's just pulling everything up, you know. So it's something to keep in mind. But yes, it looks good. But so does basically everything. You can see, yeah, we can see it perfectly bounced off this level here. Um, I think, I don't know. I mean, yeah, it could easily run up to here. Obvious resistance, obvious resistance here. You also already pushed through this, so you've got sort of some support here. Plus this. Anyways, thoughts on funding increase, maybe cause liquidation. Yeah, what is the funding right now? Yeah, I mean, it's like it's just the nature of so I think that funding, while funding is obviously something to pay attention to, there's a balance, right? Okay, so there's an unlock in 2 weeks. It makes sense, yeah. So there's a balance when it comes to funding that's important to understand. Um, yes, pay attention to funding, 100%. But when there is more, when the news cycle or the fundamentals or something else is so significant, it just overshadows funding by such a huge amount that it doesn't matter. So don't take a trade just because funding says that something is gonna, something is, yeah, right. So don't take a trade just because funding is positive is not a reason to short. Here's how you think about funding. If you see a short setup or you have a bias that says you should go short and funding agrees with you, funding is positive, then that is just an extra thing to help, uh, encourage the trade. It's one more piece of information. It adds confluence to the trade. If you're starting from funding to then come up with a trade, I think you're doing it backwards. Funding is not the reason to take a trade. Funding is not justification for a trade. Funding is something that you can use to add confidence and confluence to a trade. So, yes, funding is positive, but it's almost inevitable given the breakout that it's positive. And the rest of the market is screaming that every little dip is going to get bought up, at least for the day. So there's just no reason to be saying, oh, wow, funding, better short, right? If funding wasn't positive, that would be pretty phenomenal, to be honest, given how bullish it is. Like, it just would be ridiculous. Like, you have to pay people to take leverage shorts on futures. Otherwise, who's going to take leverage shorts, right? At this point, who's going to short? So, anyways, um, pay attention to funding, but don't let funding alone create your bias. Okay, funding is just one piece of information to use. Funding matters a lot more when there's nothing else to use as information. When when you have other pieces of the puzzle, they are almost always more important than funding. Anyways, yeah, low volume, high fun. Yeah, so there's lots of things. So low volume is kind of like the same though. It's like low volume implies that there's not really anything going on, right? So when there's nothing else happening, aka when there's low volume or just it's a weekend or something like that, yeah, funding becomes more important because nothing else matters. But when you have other things that are more important, then funding becomes less important. Anyways, um, anything else? You guys have any questions? Oh, let's look at open interest, see what happened. Yeah, I mean, open interest is pretty terrifying. I would say open interest is scarier than funding, to be honest. Jesus Christ. But again, this is all about context. If you if you don't have if you look at just if you look at just open interest without considering how bullish the market is, like if the market is truly as bullish as I think it is right now, it doesn't matter how high funding is. It doesn't matter how high open interest. What's up, Elemental? So it just doesn't matter, right? Like, yeah, if there was no reason to be bullish, this would be a huge red flag. There was no reason to be bullish, funding would be a huge red flag, right? But the whole point is that there is a reason to be bullish. So when there's a fundamental reason that the market is likely to continue to trend up, then this is all justified. There's a reason that open interest is so high. There's a reason that funding is high to provide counterparties to everybody's longs. Yeah, and funding is not even high compared to like 4 months ago. That is a really good point. Funding is like nothing compared to like the 0.2, 0.3% we were getting, and especially on a Bybit. So it's really nothing. So, anyways, yeah, pay attention to this for sure. But I would say come back tomorrow or the next day. Let's look at funding tomorrow. Let's look at funding the day after tomorrow. Let's look at open interest tomorrow and the day after. Today, it doesn't matter. In my opinion, today funding and open interest do not matter. Maybe in a couple days they'll matter, but today, no. Just don't even worry about it. At least, like I would say, you don't even need to like look at funding for the day. If we break towards like 70K today, then yeah, maybe I'll get out. Yeah, respect. I mean, I obviously there's always risk. Everything is risk. But if you're just because there's risk in longing doesn't mean you should short, right? If you have a great reason to short, don't let me tell you you know what to do. I don't want the responsibility. Take your own trades. But I mean, I'm not going to short. I guess is the point. Um, Yeah, just smash the button. All right. What I will say, if we blast up towards 70K and we get an extra little pop in open interest, I will consider trying to fade a serious short squeeze. But whatever this is not a short squeeze yet. Okay? The short squeeze happens when you're in disbelief at how long it's been pumping. Yeah, I'll check Sol. I'm not in disbelief yet. I will short when I'm in disbelief. Until I'm in disbelief, I'm not shorting. Any reason that I use the Bybit chart? I don't. I use BitMEX chart. The only reason I use the BitMEX chart is because I've always used the BitMEX chart since the beginning of time, because I used to trade on BitMEX. I also do think that BitMEX has probably like more reasonable price action nowadays compared to other exchanges. What do I mean disbelief? Well, I mean when we get to like 70, 74K in a day, and you're sitting here like, oh my God, how is this even possible? That's when I'll short, right? And if we don't get that, then I won't short. I'll short when we get to 74K in 24 hours and we just can't believe how fast we got here. Until then, I'm not going to short. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not saying we're going to get there. I'm just saying that I'm not going to short unless that happens. And if it does happen, yeah, I'll probably fade. I'll take something. But until then, not interested. What am I looking at? Solana? Yeah, I mean, Solana looks like it wants to go for the highs, not gonna lie. Yep, looks pretty good. But like, so does everything. Know what I mean? Here's a better thing to look at. Let's look at something that's been getting absolutely pummeled is FTT versus Solana. Yeah. Let's do FTX, FTT USD versus FTX Sol USD. This thing has been getting wrecked, right? So this is FTT versus Solana. Look at this, just totally obliterated. Maybe I'm coping, might be coping, but I think that FTT is going to catch up to Solana a little bit, at least somewhat. Or what do we want to do? Does FTX have BNB? Yeah, they do. FTX BNB versus what do we want to do? What do you want to compare BNB to? I might be coping. It's possible I'm coping. BNB versus what? What do you want to compare? FTT? Anyways, we'll see. Yeah, Solana looks good. Let's just leave it at that. Solana looks very bullish, at least for the short term. But I'm going to stick to FTT. I might long a little bit of Sol if there's a pullback. I might long some Sol if there's a pullback. But until then, I'm going to focus on what I have. Focus on scalping Bitcoin, buying every dip. Yeah. Bitcoin Cash and LTC. I don't touch any of that. I will never long Bitcoin Cash or FTT or LTC like Litecoin. Not going to happen. I haven't owned Bitcoin Cash or touched it in like 4 years. No, it's just a dinosaur. Bitcoin Cash has no future. It might pump, but it's a bad investment. Litecoin is too boring for people to buy. So these things could go up, right? Like, don't get me wrong, they could go up, but there's an opportunity cost to put your money in something like this. There are better investments right now. FTM. So FTM is tricky. You're basically in price discovery. I think that at this point in the Phantom cycle, there is probably a reasonable chance that Phantom chills and I'm not saying it dips, but I think there's a reasonable chance that some other things outperform Phantom for the next couple days. So if I had to put my money into something, if I had a bunch of Phantom, I would probably rotate out of Phantom into FTT, Solana, ETH, Bitcoin. Yeah, something like that. This true classic. Let's see. I'll have to wait. I'll have to assess that risk. All right, guys. Anyways, yeah, long and pullbacks, not shorting. That's the plan. I got to do Teal Street Scrum because I got up late. So I'm gonna. All right, I'll do ADA and then I'm gonna get out. In Yeah, like it does look like it wants to take off. Like I'm not gonna lie. Yes, it's a pretty good long. Yeah, it's pretty good. This isn't bad. Yeah, ding, I can get the drawing saved by today. I'll get a drawing saving done today. It should be very easy. I haven't even gotten to that yet, but it should be trivial. So I'll work on that. Um, yeah. So anyways, yeah. Cardano does look good. Looks like it looks quite good actually. Anything else? Yeah, I mean, and okay, you can't. This is unchartable. I have no idea. Yeah, probably you get another pump. I mean, statistically speaking, whenever you have these new listings, and okay, this was in March. It went all the way up, came down. Second thing, yeah, I mean, it's very likely you're going to get at least another bump up to here someday. But who knows when? I mean, it could be this. This could be the start. I think there's a very, very high chance that you retest this. This level is very, very likely to be retested, something like this. But again, I don't even know what this thing is. Macro on LTC, yeah, I would not bullish on Litecoin in general. Litecoin's fine. It's great in terms of like what it does, but the problem is that hype drives the market more than anything, and Litecoin can't generate hype. Um, all right. I think Lat made a bunch on Bell. Yeah, Lat caught the bottom on this on here. Verified because he sits next to me. Um, yeah, I mean, Spell looks good, but I would still try and get in on dip if you're going to buy it. You've got levels here. See if you can get in anywhere around here. Honestly, you can get in somewhere over here. Would be probably in pretty good shape. That would be a reasonable entry. Like if yeah, there you go. My opinion, the trade the trade would be that. I mean, that's a pretty good trade. You want to just take a scalp. If you were going for something more ambitious, the same entry, same stop loss, but you could have a farther target, or you could take off in chunks. So you have one trade. Your first trade is like that, then you take off some, and then the rest of it you can let run. I don't know. Price discovery. Who knows? I don't really know. This is DeFi thing, right? Ripple, no idea. What entry would you recommend on Cardano? I don't recommend anything. I don't make recommendations. What entry would I recommend on Cardano? The one you just missed, probably. This point, okay, fine. Let's just do some. Um, Hold on. There's just so much price history on Cardano. You have to here's the challenge with a chart like this is filtering out what is noise and what is not, When you've got this much data to work with when it comes to technical analysis, it's tricky because it's hard to figure out what to pay attention to, what not to. So one of the things that I sometimes do is just do every level that you see. Don't worry too much about making the chart busy at first. So just like every level, go ahead and draw them, right? So I'm just kind of going through here and I'm just eyeballing every possible thing that could be a decent level. And then once you kind of get the chart going, if it's too noisy, you go back through and you delete the levels that are not as meaningful relative to other levels that you've drawn, right? On the 4-hour chart, this is actually not that bad. Yeah, so anyways, entries on Cardano. To be honest, if you could get something, if you can, like, it depends on how aggressive you are. If you are really bullish and you don't want to miss out, you're really, really afraid of missing the train, then yeah, you should probably get in now and put a stop loss somewhere down here. If you're more of a diverse investor, oh, hold on, Lat's here. One sec. What's up? I'm on mic. Lat says hi. Okay, if you are more diverse, you've got a bunch of things that you are invested in, then don't worry about it. Like just set alerts and don't be afraid to miss out. So the better move here is to, in my opinion, the better move is to pick a bunch of different things, set optimistic entry alerts or bids, and then most of them won't get filled. But the ones that do get filled, you'll get really good entries on. So it's kind of up to you. You have to decide how aggressive you want to be with your entries here. All right, guys, that's it. I'm gonna do Scrum for Teal Street. I did DYDX. I'll do it here real quick. Yeah, it looks bullish. I don't know what to say. Looks good. I think okay. This one you can get a better entry on, probably. To be completely honest. And an optimistic entry would be somewhere in this area here. So if you Idsole. So yeah, I would say this would be a really good entry. This is the entry you want to try and get, in my opinion. Whoops. And again, I there's a reasonable chance you don't get filled, but the idea is pick enough. If you're an alt trader, by the way, I don't trade alts really, so this is like, don't listen to me. But if I were an alt trader, I think the strategy is pick a bunch of things, give yourself optimistic entries, and set bids across the board, and most of them won't get filled, but the ones that do get filled, you'll get really good entries so that your stop loss can be far enough away. So I think when it comes to UIDX, I would be looking a little bit above this level, so like maybe there. That's what I'd go for. If you're really aggressive and you just want to ape in, yeah, I mean you can justify taking the trade right now. It's not going to be as good as if you wait, but at least you'll be guaranteed to get in. If you have no patience, you could take a little bit of size now and save some. But I think you're better off coming up with a more diverse portfolio of um of alts that you want to long, and then being patient on all of them, and accepting that you probably won't get filled on most of them. But the ones that you do get filled on, you'll have really good entries. All right, that's it. Bye, guys.